This is a real battleground, and this comes back to making sure that you choose your franchise group carefully. It's a question that you really need to be satisfied that you have a good answer to from several sources, not just from the franchisor. What happens if I'm unhappy, or things are going wrong, or I don't like what the franchisor is doing? There is always a mediation and dispute resolution process written into your franchise agreement. But essentially, if you can't resolve it with the franchise manager, you'll have a contact that's dealing with technical issues. If you're a food outlet, you might have a problem with a line that won't work, or with a product that you can't get sold. If you can't work that out with your franchise manager, and you feel you need to make a formal complaint or a formal allegation that something isn't being done, your franchise agreement and sometimes the procedures manual for the franchise group will set out that process. But it involves essentially making a formal complaint, sometimes called a breach notice, but essentially it's a notice to your franchisor saying, I do not believe that you are meeting your obligations. Once you do that, then there is a set period where the parties must sit down and attempt with genuine goodwill to try and resolve that issue. If it cannot be done within that negotiation period, then it goes to a formal alternative dispute resolution process, which is either mediation or conciliation, sometimes one then the other. Mediation and arbitration are not the same process. Mediation is essentially all the parties sitting around closed doors, off the record, with a mediator who is really just a referee, trying to see if you can reach a conclusion. Arbitration is more akin to a court, where the arbitrator will listen to the submissions of the parties, gather in the evidence and say, based on what I've heard, I believe that this is what should happen. I believe that these are the facts. Ultimately, if the entire process of alternative dispute resolution fails, then one or other of the parties can terminate the franchise agreement, and again there's a process written into the agreement for that, and then depending upon what the franchisor wants to do, either there will be an open dispute run through the courts, or the franchisor will go through the process of extracting you out of that business and rebranding and taking back from you all of the trademarks, the stock, and everything else that identifies you as a franchisee.